Every week, I eat this, and this, and this, and I drink wine too. 2 to 3 times at restaurants, just so you can enjoy my reviews. And yet, I'm 1 meter 85, I weigh 86 kilos, I'm 59, which puts my body mass index right around 25. I wouldn't say I'm slim, but I'm definitely fit. And here's the thing, I don't go to the gym. I don't follow any diet. So how does that work? Well, this is exactly what people call the French paradox. But the reality behind it is not what most people think. And I've been living in Paris for more than 35 years. So what I'm about to share with you is not theory. It's just how people actually live in Paris. When people think about French food, they imagine this: butter, bread, cheese, desserts, wine. And logically, you would expect people eating like this to gain weight. But that's not what happens. The French paradox is the idea that despite a diet rich in fats, French people tend to have relatively low rates of heart disease and obesity. For years, people tried to explain it. Red wine, genetics, smaller portions. But the truth is much simpler and much more interesting. Because the real secret is not what people eat, it's how they eat. First, meals are structured. In France, people don't eat all day long. There is breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and that's it. Of course, there can be exceptions, but overall, eating is organized, not constant. Snacking exists, but it's not the norm. People don't constantly grab food on the go. Meals are important moments. You sit down, you eat, and then you move on. And this is a big difference with other countries. Eating is something you do consciously, not something you do in the background. Another key element is the quality of the food. Bread comes from a bakery. Cheese is real cheese, with French being home to over 1,200 distinct varieties of cheese. Meals are made from fresh ingredients, most often from the market. It's not processed food. It's not diet food. It's just real food. Meals are also slow. In Paris, lunch or dinner can easily last 1 hour, sometimes 2. People talk, they take their time, and that naturally changes everything. Food is not something to feel guilty about. Dessert is normal. Wine is part of the meal. And because there is no frustration, there is no vicious circle of restriction followed by overeating. This might be the most important point of all. Food is something to enjoy, not something to fight against. Portions also tend to be smaller than in many countries, but not in a frustrating way. When I posted that steak from Bidoche, some people said, "That's too small." But that's exactly the point. When you eat slowly, on focus and quality, you naturally feel satisfied with less. And finally, movement. Not through intense workouts, but through daily life. Parisians walk a lot. And so do tourists visiting the City of Light. Walking everywhere, taking the stairs, just living in the city. So when you put all this together, structured meals, real food, slower eating, pleasure, and daily movement, the paradox starts to make a lot more sense. And no, you don't need to drink dozens of bottles of red wine. Good news, right?
The other good news is you don't need to live in Paris to apply this.
You can start with very simple things. Avoid, or at least reduce snacking. Sit down when you eat. Take your time. Choose better ingredients and avoid processed food. Walk more whenever you can. And for just a couple of flights, forget the lift, take the stairs. And maybe stop being afraid of bread or carbs. In the end, it's not about what you eat. It's about how much you eat. The French paradox is not a miracle. And it's not a diet. It's a lifestyle. Parisians don't try to stay fit. They just live in a way that naturally keeps them that way. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you want more insights on how to experience Paris like a local, make sure to subscribe to Paris Top Tips. I always reply to each and every comment, so don't hesitate to share your thoughts on this subject or ask me anything about Paris and the French way of life. Until next time, au revoir.